I want to talk today about keeping your power and how we do that. When there's so many situations in our life that aren't in our control, and to not allow yourself to give your power away to these situations. So, one framework that I use is focusing on what I can control. And what we control is, excuse me, what we can control is how we react, what our intention is. So if I shift that focus in those moments to who it is that I want to be and disconnect from someone else's reaction or what someone decides about that or what someone says about that, that's how we keep our power. But if we're walking around and we need someone to behave in a certain way for us to call that a success, for us to say like, yeah, we did it, then we're giving our power away to someone else's decision. And if we think about manifestation, all that is, whether you're talking about law of attraction or you're talking about leaning in gratitude, the reason that we have all these things, visualizing, it's to be able to radiate the energy that you want to radiate, aka being able to control the energy that you radiate. And if you're relying on other people to be a certain way, it's just impossible, right? It's giving it up to chance on how someone else is feeling, on how someone else is behaving, instead of really harnessing that power yourself. So, how do we do this? One, pre-decisions is really, really, really powerful. If we are running into a situation frequently, or I know a lot of us here are empaths, and empaths, me in this category, can have a hard time enforcing boundaries. um, so if you know there's a situation, you can make a pre-decision. Like if there's a situation that you run into frequently or is expected because of the structure of your business or because of the structure of other things in your life. So if you decide before, then it doesn't take any decision power. And if you're in a lower vibration at that time, you're just leaning on your decision when you're in a higher vibration. And that's going to help pull you out of that. So pre-decisions, but pre-decisions aren't always possible. Um, the other thing is, say I'm going into a situation that maybe there's some conflict, even that, even there's a reframe there of conflict where what if conflict was just to bring more closeness? I believe that to be true, right? And it doesn't mean something's wrong. That's like the expectation that with people that we're close with, conflict can rise up, and that's how we navigate that. So, um, anyway, back to what I was saying is, say we're going into a situation and we know that it's a more difficult or challenging conversation or situation or whatever that is. If we set the intention before, like, and don't ever do more than just three. When you're picking attention of who you want to be, maximum three. Otherwise, there's too many pieces and we can't really hone it in. So maybe you go into a conversation, you're like, you know what, I want to hear more deeply than I've ever heard. And I want to come from a place of love. That way, while you're in that conversation and things are happening that maybe trigger you, you're leaning back on that intention. Like, what would love do here? How can I listen more deeply? Maybe I misunderstood something. And it gives you a bit of a roadmap instead of just like going in and hoping that you perform at your best without any guidance, right? It's like running a race and having a coach and being prepared, or just showing up on game day and hoping it works out. um, so those two are both when we have a bit of an idea that's happening, right? A bit of preparing. What if we just find ourselves in it in the moment? And what I've done in this moment that really serves me is just pause, right? Like I can think of when that happened and I was in the thick of it, and oh, excuse me. It's crazy. Okay. We're still going. I was in the thick of it and I just paused and asked myself, coming from the place of love, what would love do here? And I didn't know. But because I was in a lower state, right? It was harder for me to connect to that. But that question allowed me to at least pause, and then it allowed me to grab onto the closest, the highest version of love that I could grab onto from that state. And then from there, maybe I can grab a bit higher. And from there, I can grab a little bit higher, right? I'm not holding this expectation on myself that when I'm in a low state, I'm going to perform at my absolute best. Um, but just pausing and giving yourself that. Like, we don't have to react. We can just pause and ask ourselves what would love do, and maybe that's giving yourself a little space. Maybe that's like, hey, you know what? I'm feeling a little bit overwhelmed right now. I'm just going to give myself 5 minutes so that I don't behave in a way that I don't want to behave, or so that I can bring myself, my best self, to this conversation. Whatever it is, whatever that situation is. In most of these situations, it's not a we have to react now. Like, if we slow things down, then we can come with more intention. Where if we act from reaction, by default, that's going to be us acting from the person we were, the person we're moving away from. Because that's what a habit is, right? That person that we're moving away from, or the person that we're used to being, has these reactions in these ways that, oh, when this person says this, I feel this. And if we want to shift that and move into a higher version of ourselves, we need to pause in those moments so that we can choose and be the energy that we want to be instead of just reacting from these old habits. So I hope that helps. Thank you so much. And I will talk to you tomorrow.